Now I have to ask myself what I can make here. And I rather eat my own food than, that's often what other people cook. Because I know that I'm cooking in the spirit. Creating a good meal. Okay, now I have to ask myself what I'm actually making. Okay, first phase, awakening to the truth that you have been lazy. Alright, don't project it on me. I'm just gonna teach you how to make tortilla, or what you may call chapati. And this is gonna be wheat flour chapati, possibly tortilla. I have experience with making chapati, but this recipe, because last time I made them, I was a bit dissatisfied. So I found a recipe where they pour hot water on top. Yeah, I am not quite sure about this. I have already done this once in a recipe called an Egyptian pizza, which I believe I have recorded already for this show. Now, preparation is in order. I'm just rendering the scorpion pose video, which turned out different than I thought, but that's usually the case when you're being creative. And that also goes for cooking. I mean, sure, you can give in to frustration and anger, but why not just, whatever happens, happens. You just make it part of the meal. No need to cut yourself for attention. Or because you don't like cooking, right? So you want to make a good meal, and that's what we're here to learn. How to properly cook. I already know how to cook. I just have to do it. You may not know how to cook at all. And that means, like, it's just standing on this. I don't know. Okay, the question is always how much to make. The nice thing about if you make tortilla or chapati, if you make too many, you cannot make too many. Because what you don't eat right now, you can just freeze it and then take it out as you need it. And it's a great, because I have been staying away from, how do you call it again? Oh, it's not supposed to be boiling hot, by the way. You're not supposed, you can use it as a base for making pizza, a yeast-free pizza base that you made yourself. So you do this when you have time, so you don't have to do it when you feel like you don't have the time. Now, because this is an experiment, plus okay, I'm gonna put cumin into this because it's good for your colon. Plus it gives a nice taste. You can even put chili in there if you want. You can basically put anything you want into this. Okay. Sure, I mean, some people would put oil into this because I don't have that much oil. I actually have to do my householding. So I don't know how much it didn't boil all the way. That's all I can say. So I cook via feeling. Right. Wash my hands quickly. Now I pushed this off until now, and you may wonder, and I may wonder alongside with you, why? Well, hard to say. I just had to do other things first, apparently. Still trying to understand the connection between sleep, samadhi, and the wandering of spirit. Okay. Now I'm just gonna do it like this. Yes, so you do realize if you want directions, you have to go somewhere else. I'm just cooking and telling you to just cook. If you want proper recipes with that's the amount for this and that because you're still learning, well, this is advanced, okay? This is for people who just want to do it. So if you're really insecure, then you have to start with your basic training, which is why you just buy a cookbook and then you just follow the instructions until you feel stable enough to fly on your own, right? I have done all my cooking already in my life. I mean, I wanted to cook already at a young age. I started cooking, I did an internship 2 weeks in my holidays, and I realized at that time I want more freedom in my life, and this job could never give that to me. I have cooked a lot, and I have experimented a lot on my own. But there are also things which I feel like, okay, actually, I don't have much left. This is corn flour. Like white corn flour. You use that to make pap or ugali, how they say in Tanzania. I just want to see how it will turn out in the end. Like, I don't have rules, you know, I make it, I eat it. I have lots of experience with cooking. I have sometimes cooked for hours and then realized that it tasted not as I thought it would. But with the years I just got better, and I never understood why there's people who don't want to do this, because it's so much nicer. I mean, if you go to a restaurant and somebody cooks for you, all they see is money. They don't see I make good food. I mean, unless you find a really good place, like the one that was described in this book by John Strelecki, the Why Are You Here Cafe, I think it's called. I'm working on my own book about diet, but it's more about transforming your ideas of what food is and what kinds of food actually make you more awake and what kinds of food make you more asleep. So I give myself to experiment, to figure out, okay, who am I as a human? Who am I as an Aquarius? Who am I as an individual? Who am I as a being of nature? And what's the food that I want? Right, what's the food that I really need? Okay, I want these to be a bit, like I want the dough to be a bit tougher. I have worked with doughs for years already, my friend. Which is why this is a feeling. I once had a recipe, but what's the point? I mean, you have to find your own way. I'm really reluctant to give people everything because it's just too stupid. This is not how you teach cooking. Forcing people to cling to recipes, to bind them to you. To free the mind, you have to cook a lot. And you have to keep cooking. And you have to pay attention. You know, this is the opposite of someone who gets one of these cooking machines, you know, where you just put everything in and it tells you when to put what in. No, this is conscious cooking. This is, I feel like cinnamon today, right? I feel like there should go cumin in this, you know? And if somebody tries to block you, you just throw them out of the kitchen. This is, you know, making proper food. This is transformation. This is having an idea and bringing it about. Now, if I would cook for lots of people, you know, no problem. But cooking for myself is really hard. So now I'm filming it, right? You see, I'm cooking for lots of people. Because this is also, I'm cooking together my life in that sense, in income. But if I wouldn't know how to cook, then what would be the point of doing this? So if I teach you something, then you should listen to it or go somewhere else. I'm telling you, if you want to learn cooking and you get angry because I don't give you exact weights, then you're missing the lesson. Buy a vegetarian cookbook, start cooking. Fiddle around with vegan. I'm not always vegan, but I have vegan times. Sometimes I feel like I just need meat, but I also feel a bit nauseous sometimes when I eat it, so it's really hard to say. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, I'm still here, right? And there were times where I felt almost dead. And, you know, learn how to cook Indian. You know, travel to these countries if you must. Learn from them. Bring it back. Make it your own, right? Look at the Mediterranean kitchen, the cuisine. Look at what people used to eat where you actually come from. I like Indian style cooking. Lots of spices, you know, ginger, garlic, you know, that kind of stuff. But I also do it completely my own way. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I have not done it this way. Also, you knead with right, you knead with left. This is pure strength. There were times where I made 2 kilo bread. But as I said, I stopped using yeast because yeast takes over your entire body and grows into your mind, making you something that is literally less than human. So get rid of your yeasts, and for that I can only speak from my own experience. Me, personally, I have had great success with an anorganic sulfur cleanse. Right, and that's the best way of saying it without claiming that this is actual advice. Right, we need real human beings again. And what that means is what you are trying to figure out. So this is real transformation. This is how real human beings used to make food. And then you're gonna get better. It's gonna get nice and you're gonna love making dough. You're gonna need it. And then it's real energy food because you pack it tightly. You break up the structures. You make it something new. You make it part of the day of your experience here on Earth. And you never get drawn into these Michelin star bullshit. It's all fake. It's just to make more money with it. Right? You should never go to any kind of award because it's useless. What's the Oscar gonna give you? Nothing. They just want to leech off on your creation. You should never give them that. And that's why I like Hayao Miyazaki. But I wish he would have just told them the truth instead of saying, you know, he's too old. Because he just didn't want to come. Well, maybe it's a form of respect that I just don't get. Okay, and this has to stand for a while. Oh, it feels good. Kneading dough is really nice. So bread for me is something that fills you up, right? Okay, I'm gonna pause this and come back for baking them. Okay, I just made some art. And now I find myself in the position of being ready to try the chapati. The dough has been sitting for some time. I'm getting hungry. I would like to eat now. I'm glad I prepared this because that's what I started to do. To already always do one thing of a meal, prepare it. Like you want to make lentil soup, you soak them beforehand. Right? You want to make chapati, you make the dough, you let it sit. You give your food time. Now this is a new experience because I haven't made the dough like this yet. So I have to see how the properties are. The way I wanted to test it is actually to see if I can make it like flat, like really super flat. I'm gonna take the bottle that I've been using. Now you don't need oil for this, but you can. That depends on, if I had oil now, more oil, I'd probably use oil. But I also know that this works without oil. I'm just gonna run a test for now, but I need something else. Okay, for this, no, not this one. This will be the tricky. Okay, well, I'll just take this one. Because the way I learned it is you put them into, yeah, that's just seeds. You put them into a plastic bag. Okay, I have no plate. Yeah, I have to take that one then. You see, sometimes you're just a bit, not as good prepared as you would like yourself to be. Because that keeps them fresh. Normally you just take a normal plate, alright? If I'd have a normal plate, I'd take it now. The paper is probably not that necessary. Okay, this will probably be a bit thick. Let's just see. Right, you try to roll from the middle to the outside. The first is always try out. Okay. The properties seem good. But yeah, give yourself time to practice. I'm still an active learner. You should never stop learning. Okay. Yeah, it's quite late. Okay, the properties I already like at least. Because it seems that I can make the chapati thin without, it doesn't break easily. And that comes from using hot water. So the dough was standing for 4 hours probably. And a chapati, or this, what this is now, tortilla, whatever is your basis, you can make other things with it. So you can prepare them, like I said. Hey, wow, this is exactly what I was looking for. And now I can make them super thin. Okay, but first, you don't want to break it. But this is exactly the property that I need. Okay, now I'm looking forward to it. I haven't really eaten anything proper today. Hey, wow! Okay, I'll just check. But this is already really promising. I'm just gonna make one. Okay, heat-wise, it depends on your stove, depends on the pan, The best is a cast iron skillet. And then you just have to fiddle around with the settings. But usually, I don't know, it shouldn't be too, like, you shouldn't burn it. Okay, so what this does now, you first do the underside a little, and then you flip it. I don't know. This creates bubbles in there. And there's already bubbles. Like, you see, this is not a very good. The best to do it is always with gas, but there's very few gas ovens. But yeah, this is tortilla. Then apparently it's not chapati, so that's different. But I'm already happy with the consistency. Yeah, whatever. Sometimes you can actually get these to blow up. You can smell the cumin. So the idea was, right, you can also put this in there then with cheese and stuff. And then you cut it in slices, and that's then your quesadilla. Depends on how you want it. Or you just, if you make them thinner, this is probably still a bit too thick. You can actually have like really nice thin wraps. And if you make these with dark or brown flour, what I really like is that you can, you know, you make chapati, then you cut the chapati in slices. I'll probably show you another time. And then you make nacho chips out of them, which is you just make like a seasoning with oil and paprika, maybe smoked paprika, and then salt. And then you spread it on top of them, you put them in the oven, you bake them until they're crunchy. You just made your own nacho chips. You see how this bubble came up? This is how I learned this in South Africa. No, actually not. Well, or maybe I did. I don't know, I've done so much cooking. Now you see what this does? It creates layers. And you don't need baking soda. Wow, this is super exciting. It's much better than the last ones I did. Yeah, I'm getting hungry now. I'm just rendering another video. It's really a full-time job. But I'm glad I also have other projects. You want to be versatile in your creativity to really give it the best you got. Otherwise, what's the point of ever starting if you're considering to stop? Now, it's hard to project this into the future, but for now, I think I can do it. But one reason I do this is also because if I record it, right, people know where I started, and then I can show my entire journey, and this is awesome. Plus I get to say things that I feel like saying. Okay, you know what's perfect, but other people always have things to say. But I like to treat criticism just as something, you know, okay, you know, next time I've had people tell me that my food was too spicy and too salty, and so I kept learning. Right. So I use less salt now. Gandhi was fiddling with this, but I don't know. What bothers me is that he lost his teeth. I think he should have done more yoga. I think he stopped caring for himself, and one should also prioritize, right, your time here. It's not just about other people. So this is now however you want it, right? I'm really hungry, so I'm probably just gonna make one. And then I have recorded it. You have seen how it goes, and the rest you can do for yourself. Sometimes you really manage like it's just like an air balloon. Sometimes, depending on where you place the spoon, suddenly it's just like, yeah. And one thing I often don't get is how to like properly bake it. Wow, but they're good. I mean, they have to be baked through, of course. Plus they go without fat. So now, you know, they're not as heavy, but I will make them thinner. But I'm already quite happy. They're quite flexible in their consistency. Where you can also get your fingers used a bit to the heat. Not overdo it, but sometimes just test your, you know, how long can you do it, to build up a bit of resistance, you know, because sometimes you just also like to use your fingers while cooking. Yeah, if you know they're clean and you don't keep putting them in your mouth or, you know. Okay, I'm really looking forward to eat. Yeah, I'm gonna make this into a wrap, or I'm gonna put cheese in between, put it back in the pan, and then eat it with something else to the side. I have made salad. Okay, how many minutes does this still have? 11. I think this is long enough. I'm gonna turn this off. I don't know. You know, I'm cooking despite the sadness that I feel. I don't even know why I feel so much sadness. There's just some like feel really sad, and I don't know why. I may know why, but if I do, then I don't want to. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all I got. I wanted to show you how I make chapati, right? The rest is for later. Take what you get and then work on it yourself. Ah. Okay. I'm not quite sure yet. But what I wanted to do was yeah, I'm sorry, it's not super clean. But the way they showed it was I mean, for a real quesadilla, you probably would have to put other stuff in between. But all I want is for the cheese to actually melt. You can actually just do it like this. Just put it in. This is like a really greedy meal. Okay, you know what? This is not super good cheese, by the way. It's just cheese, right? I mean, this is like... Right, you should probably do this a bit better. But you can always remember for next time, right? I just wanted to do this. Yeah, no shame, my friend. For me, the kitchen is not dirty. Okay, actually it's a pizza now. I just didn't eat the whole day. Now sometimes you just forget. This is the... Yeah, I have no plates. No plates. You know what? You see how it draws out the water? And then you put it like this, right? Okay, to me that's enough. To get this out of the way. Okay. Mayonnaise. Don't know why that always has to happen. I don't know, I like mayonnaise. But there's also quality differences. No, this is just gonna be a wrap. I'm gonna eat this next to it. Okay, and now the chicken I made already. And usually I keep it then for two to 3 days. So, I mean, you're in charge. if you want to eat meat, then you do it your way. And then you appreciate it when you eat it. But you don't eat it all the time. You eat it once in a while. I don't know. What's good, what's bad. It's whatever you make out of it. Okay, that's correct. What's the point of... Okay, this should actually go... It's just gonna be like super full. How am I gonna eat this? Then you fold it and you try to eat it. Okay? This is just an idea. Cheers. Okay, this is not gonna be long. Okay, damn it. Now I'm running out of time. I just wanted to tell you before this video ends that you can also eat these with peanut butter and whatever else you put into it. I kept this in the fridge now overnight. And I'm gonna see what's gonna become of it. How the properties are now for... I'm gonna add a bit more flour. But this is really also my experimental phase still. And you should never be afraid. I think that's all I'm gonna say in terms of what I'm trying to communicate. Because when it's cold, it's gonna stick more together. And then I assume that rolling it out is probably even easier to make it like really, really flat as you can get it. And that's why I like experimenting. You do see that this movement takes strength. So this is why real cooking is sadhana, is channeling energy, is workout. It's some serious but if I cook, then I have to have absolute freedom. Otherwise, it's just slavery again. Wow, this is getting really nice and thin. You know, somebody asked me, they're a bit thick, can't they be thinner? And now they're also way easier to handle. They don't stick, they don't tear apart. Okay, this is genius. From wherever it came, I don't know, man. Suddenly I saw a different way through. And I realized, right. Like normally this would have broken the chapati. but now it's still good, and that's awesome. I never knew this. Wow. Cool. I mean, this to me is nice. And sometimes you need these things, these reminders that things can actually work out if you believe they can. Like I said, I'm gonna, yeah. This is peanut mousse. Okay, so you just bake it. Here I've got a banana, and then you can add, let's see if there's still enough room in this video to show you. This is a very simple recipe for like a, like a Nutella replacement without sugar. I'm not sure if that counts as ketogenic. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the fork I already used. Okay, you take this, you take some nut butter, and then you take simply cocoa powder. That's it, okay? This, peanut butter, and then, right, you've got a good breakfast. And I think the video is going to stop now. Or soon. But that. See if I wouldn't have hesitated. Would have still recorded it. Right, I need a lot of energy.